Kickoff by Xavier Howard. Tagovailoa trying to make it for it. Fire to the end zone. Touchdown!
What's good, Fin Nation? What's good? It's your boy Reason, and we are back here for another one. Appreciate y'all coming through. Smash that like button. Subscribe if you're new. Y'all already know what time it is. Appreciate y'all. Man, it has been, it's Victory Monday, but you go on some of these social media outlets, and it sure doesn't feel like it. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous out here on some of these outlets. I mean, after I watched the game again yesterday, I bumped my C+ on Tua up to a B-. I just can't get on board with trashing and dragging Tua through the mud when you look at the efficiency, 270 yards, a touchdown, almost a 70% completion percentage. Did he have some bad decision-making under duress? Sure shit he did. Does he need to be more consistent heading in to the next 3 weeks? 110%. Were there some throws he left on the field that he's got to make? Yup. But at the end of the day, the efficiency showed up. He put up 270 yards. And I want to hit y'all with something. Do you know how many quarterbacks last year put up 270 plus yards against the New England Patriots? Only two. There was only two quarterbacks in 2021 that put up 270 or more yards against them. And when you take everything into context, and again, we'll do Tua Tuesday tomorrow. Best breakdown on YouTube, me, Ball Game, and the homie Martin. We'll break it down for you guys tomorrow. We'll go in depth. But, you got people out here just reaching for stuff. I've seen some people arguing that Judon didn't tip the ball on that first play to Tyreek. Go watch the God view. Go watch the end zone all 22 view. You see it get tipped. I don't know what people are talking about. I don't know what kind of narratives we're trying to hit with. And, it's ridiculous. Listen, and I get J.C. Jackson was there last year, but that's still a good New England defense. And it was only the first game. It's only going to get better from here. When you take into context, that was his first game when it mattered in the system. It's only going to get better. It's only going to get better. So, people out here spewing their little narratives. And again, best film breakdown in the game. Because, film breakdown started on Finn's side of the NFL. No one was spitting out all 22 till your boy Reason came along. And we're going to do it tomorrow night. Me, Martin, Ball Game. We're going to show y'all what the deal is. All right? And we're going to give you broadcast, end zone view, multiple views. We'll point stuff out. We'll show you exactly what it is. So, again, I see people talking about the Judon tip. All you got to go do is look at the end zone view. If you look at the end zone view, the trajectory of the ball changes. Go watch the end zone view. Don't watch the broadcast view. Don't watch the high up view. Watch the end zone view from the goalposts. You will see the trajectory of the ball change. It's literally right there for your eyes. You have to watch the end zone view. When you watch the end zone view, you will see it. So that's all you got to do. Go check it out. The All 22 is available right now. It came out a couple hours ago on NFL Plus. Literally, go click. Drop the scroll bar down, go to end zone, go to the play, and you'll see it. All right? It's literally not debatable. You see the trajectory of the ball change. The high snap threw off the whole timing of the play. That was supposed to be snap, boom, out. And high snap, catches it, brings it down, goes to throw it. Judon's now got his hand up, boom, ball tipped. You literally go watch the end zone view. It's not that hard to find. It's accessible for everyone. So, ball game, Martin, we'll break it down for y'all. Already 200 in the comment section. Smash that like button. Subscribe if you're new. You already know where right now. You already know what time it is right now. And I see people like, I don't know. Tell them to put on the end zone view. They'll see what's good. So, yeah, I just don't get the misery. We're 1-0. Like, I've already said it during the offseason that a lot of y'all already sucked the joy out of being a fan. Y'all continue. I mean, some of y'all just live miserable lives, huh? Like, go out, touch grass. I don't know, go get laid. Go do something with your life. But some of y'all are just miserable. It's ridiculous. Oh, I don't want 270. I want 350, and I want another touchdown. All right. Well, and I want $1 million. I don't know what to tell you. You see Emmanuel Ocho break it down. You see Dominic Foxworth talk about how he watched all this time. You got former NFL players out here talking about how they watched everything, and they like what they saw from Tua in this offense moving forward. So, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. It's just, y'all are a miserable bunch that, nothing will make y'all happy. I mean, everyone wants the big arm, but I can tell all these people didn't watch the Marino era. We had the big arm. We got no championship. What do you want me to say to you right now? We had the big arm for like 16 years. How many championships did we get? How many AFC? We got one AFC championship and 0 Super Bowls in 16 years with the best natural passer in football. We've been there. We've done that. Didn't work. Guess what? The game manager, Bob Greasy, someone remind me how many he won, please. What have I told you? It's about efficiency at the position. Efficiency wins Super Bowls. That's what Tom Brady's made his whole career off. High football IQ, elite level efficiency. And I've gone over exactly what efficiency is multiple times. Listen, I watched Herbert the first half against the Raiders yesterday, and the guy was slinging it. Slinging it. Yeah, they won the game in the end, but he almost choked it away. Herbert's known for choking. Hopefully, he's turned the corner on that. We've had it. Let's stick with them for a sec. All right? Let's stick with the Chargers. Rivers got all these numbers, all these accolades. How many AFC championships? How many Super Bowls? And the guy could sling it. The guy ran Breeze out of town. Tell me where I'm wrong. Some of y'all would just never be happy. I want you to realize this. Tua is now 15-8 in 23 games played. All right? Do you know more than half of those wins have been by 7 points or more? Do you realize how big that is? I want you to think about this for a sec. And I don't want to hear, well, the defense didn't reason. So why couldn't Fitzpatrick put those wins up with the defense? Why did Jacoby Brissett walk in last year and go 1-4 with that defense? Why couldn't Jacoby? This is a guy who was a starter for how many years with Indianapolis, groomed in New England. Why'd he go 1-4? And Tua actually should have had a better record and should have been in the playoffs if Flores and the coaching staff did their job in the Atlanta game. He left the field with the lead. They allowed it. Same thing with Jacksonville. If he wouldn't have got out coached in the last 2 minutes by Urban fucking Meyer, we would have been in the playoffs last year. But everyone wants to just point at the quarterback. Y'all can only point at the Tennessee game. I just gave you 2 that were clearly on the coaching staff. By my count, that means they cost us 1 more game than Tua. Jacoby Brissett, and should I put Jacoby on Flores? Because that was his boy, and I've heard from Tua's family and Tua's fucking training staff that Tua was ready to go for the Colts game, but they decided to throw him on this little IR because they wanted to go through with Jacoby Brissett because that was Flores' boy. So should I put the 4 losses from Jacoby on Flores too? Now we're at 6. No, but it's all Tua, right? It's all the quarterback. It's all the quarterback. Swear to God. And then we're going to get into tonight, what are all y'all Flores defenders going to say? Because I know y'all still exist. Jerome Baker's out here saying Flores was barely in meetings. They're out here saying Boyer called it last year. It wasn't Gerald Alexander and Flores that turned it around. Boyer. Flores barely came to the defensive meetings. Now what? Now what? No, hey, that's not coaching staff. That's players now coming. And Jerome Baker was Flores' boy. That was his little fucking pet. Now what? Just saying. I'm just saying. So, I'll break down the film tomorrow. We'll show you what's really good, all right? That's just what it is. You already know that, okay? So we'll break down the film. We'll show you what's good tomorrow. Me, Martin Ball game. You already know what time it is. I'm just, hey, you know, you can't even go on these freaking, on any social media, and y'all, this miserable portion of our fan base is out in full force. Man, go root for the Chargers. Go root for the Bengals. Go root for someone else. It's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. Everyone thinking, watch. The season will play out. The season will play out. And everyone will realize that defense is not it's still good. That's the strong point of New England. That's the only reason they might even sniff 500 is their defense. I don't know what to tell you. And if you look at them together, guess what? Tua had a better game than Mac. So, we'll hop into it. We'll get it going. We'll break it down. You already know what time it is. I did want to show something real quick. Shout out to the coach. Shout out to Mike McDaniel. I wanted to show you guys this because this was real nice. Post game. Check this one out, guys. Gatorade shower, you gotta love it, baby. You gotta love it. Tua Tagovailoa and Mike McDaniel are
Tom
undefeated.
Garfinkel, the entire Miami Dolphin organization. Congrats on your first win as a head coach.
Give that man the game ball.
Yeah. So I didn't do. I mean, you want to get me emotional? You want to get me emotional, guys? I mean, it means
give that man the game ball.
But you know what? I'll take that, and I'll return it back. Everybody's getting a game ball. Because this one is one we can remember, okay? This one is one we can remember as the start of it. All the buildup, I'm so proud. We could feel it during the game. Things weren't necessarily going the way that we wanted to. But we didn't crack, okay? We were complimentary 3-0 turnover battle, okay? That's how you win football games, okay? Learn from everything. I know I'm going to be proud of the stuff we put on tape, and we're going to clean it up, okay? But that is what we do it for. And I was just so proud of you. Honestly, I just love you guys so much. I appreciate it.
That's my coach, baby.
Hey, how about Tua?
Let's get
in
it.
here and break us down, okay? Get in and break us down. All right, let's go. Everybody in. Family. I love you guys, man. Good win. Family on 3. 1, 2, 3. Family.
Love it. Absolutely love it. That's my coach, baby. That's my coach. That's my coach, baby. Absolutely beautiful stuff, man. If that doesn't make you want to check your pulse, I don't know what will. Like, that is absolutely beautiful stuff, man. Absolutely beautiful stuff. All right, let's get into all of this. We got a bunch to actually go over here. I'm trying this new format out for this show. We'll see how it works, how you guys like it. And yeah, we'll see how it rolls with all y'all. Let's start off with the snap counts from yesterday. Let's get into it. So if you look at it, some noticeable things here for you guys. Durham Smythe, tight end 1. I said this on a panel show a couple weeks ago on Miami Sports Music. I mean, Durham Smythe, tight end 1. You look at that, almost 8. Durham Smythe had 63% of the offensive snaps. Mike Gesicki had 42%. Now, when we dive deeper into the numbers for you guys, here's the thing. The Dolphins spent 20 of 59 plays in 21-man personnel, 2 running backs, 1 tight end. These had both Raheem Mostert and Chase Edmonds on the field yesterday, obviously, especially when you look at the snap count. I mean, Gaskin, didn't even get a offensive snap yesterday. So they had 7 passes for 20 yards and 4 runs for -4 yards. Now, there were 24 plays in 11 personnel. So that had 16 passes for 156 yards and 8 runs for 38 yards, 4.8 yards per carry. In terms of Mike Gesicki, now we see his usage being here. He's only at about 42%. He was not on the field for any of the 21-man personnel. That was Durham Smythe mainly. And he was on the play for 15 of the 24 plays in 11 personnel. And he was on the field for 10 of 11 plays in 12-man personnel. 12-man is obviously two tight ends, right? 1 running back and 2 tight ends. So, interesting how his usage really fluctuated. And you see Alec Ingold thrown right into the fire. He saw about 22 of 60 snaps, good for 37% of the snap count. Sherfield was out for about 35% of the snaps when you look at it. So, yeah, I Durham Smythe is clearly tight end 1 right now in this offense. I mean, that is very fairly evident. I mean, hey, we'll see how it ends up rolling here, but yeah, I mean, it looks like Gesicki, the writing is kind of on the wall. The writing is starting to become on the wall. I mean, Hunter Long only had 13 less snaps than Mike Gesicki, and Hunter Long only had 12. Craig Kraft was out there for 10 snaps. So, yeah. I don't know what to say. It looks bad from, we already pretty much said the writing looked like it was going to be on the wall. The writing is on the wall. And it's becoming very evident. Now, Ethan Carter, he only saw 1 snap. He's in the concussion protocol. We are waiting on word more word on Austin Jackson, who only saw 14 snaps. The word on him right now is that it's an ankle injury, and he could have came in an emergency role yesterday, but it's something they're going to keep an eye on. We'll get into it when we get into Mike McDaniel's presser. So those were the offensive snap counts. When you look at it, not too much really crazy to take away from here. Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle each had 40 snaps. They led the receivers, obviously. Edmonds had 63% of the snaps to Mosert's 42. Edmonds had 38 total snaps. Mosert had about 25. All right. Sherfield was on there for 21 snaps. Craig Kraft was out there for 10 snaps. All right. So now when we get into defensively, some stuff to go over here. Now, interesting things here. Andrew Van Ginkel only saw 7 snaps out of 57, and that's obviously because he's working his way back from the appendix injury. Kadir Kahu had 2 more snaps than Keon Crossan. Kahu had 18. Crossan had 16. Good for Kahu to see 32% of the snaps. When you look at it, non-corner, so seeing 100% of the snaps was Holland, Baker, Jones, and Howard. Needham saw 56 snaps out of 57, good for 98%. Then Zach Seiler was your next guy at 77% of the snaps. He was out there for 44 snaps. Wilkins was out there for 41 snaps, good for 72%. Ogba and Phillips were both out there for 70% of the snaps, which was 40 snaps. Roberts was out there for 36 snaps. Raekwon out there for 36 snaps. Melvin Ingram saw 32 snaps. Riley saw 20. And then, obviously, I went over Jenkins saw about 10 snaps, good for 18%. And Elijah Campbell saw only 4 snaps. Now, in terms of special teams, Bethel, Iguavin, Ferguson, Gaskin did see some special teams work yesterday. And another thing, you got to go back to the inactives, guys. The crazy thing to me is that Noah was inactive yesterday. Kadir Kahu was put in, basically was chosen to go in over him. You've seen how that worked out. Kadir Kahu got my defensive game ball. They didn't even get Noah special team snaps. And again, Mike McDaniel talked about as the game plan and matchups, but I don't know how much of that I'm starting to really buy right now. I mean, at least get him special team snaps, you know what I mean? And they're not even doing that. So, I know it would have cost them too much. I think the cost of cutting Noah is what saved Noah. That and the injuries. So, clearly Noah will probably not get his 5th-year option activated in this offseason, and he'll probably be gone either next year or after the 4th year. We'll see. It's it's painful for Noah right now. It's painful to be in Noah's shoes, that's for sure. All right. Let's get into the PFF stats. All right. So we'll start off with on the offense. So your highest graded offensive player was Connor Williams with an 82.3. Jalen Waddle was your second highest with a 75.4. Tyreek, your third, with a 73.2. Taron Armstead had a 72.2. And Robert Hunt was fifth with a 71.8. Durham Smythe was sixth with a 70.9. Now your fifth worst graded offensive players were Liam Eichenberg. He had a 29.8. I told y'all this, and you go look at the film. I mean, when they kicked him out to left tackle, he got a lot of pressure right away. This Eichenberg experiment, I don't see this thing working out at all. At all. I just don't. So, I mean, pretty painful. Pretty painful. Mike Gesicki was your second lowest graded at a 44.9. Greg Little was your third lowest at a 51.1. Hunter Long was your fourth lowest at a 52.7. And Tua was your fifth lowest at a 53.3. I knew they would hit him because of the turnover-worthy plays. I knew he was going to get... I told you guys that he was going to get... That he was going to get it. I knew it. I saw it from a mile away. You guys want this a little bigger for you guys? I'll give it a little bigger so you guys can see it. I knew it was. I knew he was gonna get killed. You knew he was gonna get killed. I said this from a mile away. That the turnover worthy plays were gonna kill him. I knew it. It was easy to see that was gonna happen. So, he was your fifth worst graded offensive player. All right. Continuing on. Let's get into the passing. So, when we look at Tua's chart and when we look at the passing direction here, he was 2 for 2 deep left. He was 0 for 1 deep middle. And he's 0 for 2 deep right, 20-plus yard throws. On the intermediate level, he was 4 for 6 over the middle. On the middle, yeah. And then he didn't really test the right or left side on the intermediate level. Now, he was almost, I say almost, a perfect 15 for 18 on the short level. He was 6 for 6 to his left, 6 for 6 to his middle, 3 for 6 to his right. And then he was 2 for 2 behind the line of scrimmage. Now, this is where it really gets interesting. All right. When he was kept clean on 64.9% of his dropbacks, he was 17 of 23. And that's good for a 73.9 completion percentage. For 205 yards, and he averaged 8.9 yards per attempt, which is well up from what it was last year. His depth of target was 9.5 yards as well, and he actually had a drop, so his adjusted completion percentage when kept clean was 78.3%, and that's where the touchdown came from as well. He actually had a 70.3 offensive grade when kept clean. So, this is why I don't care about their grades. This is what I always talk about with PFF. I don't care about their grades unless they match my eyes. This is the kind of stuff you want, is the analytics. Under pressure, 35.1% of his dropbacks, he was under pressure. He was 6 out of 10 for 65 yards. He only averaged 6.5 yards per attempt. And his average depth of target was only 5 yards. Now, he did have, it says it didn't charge a drop, but it said his adjusted completion percentage was 75%. So, this is the stuff that's good for when you see this kind of stuff. Now, play action is going to be a big thing for this offense, right? Yesterday, he was 9 of 16 on play action for 56.3%. He had a drop against... So that drop would have actually brought up his completion percentage to 71.4%. Now, his yards per attempt was 6.8 yards on play action, but his average depth of target was 10.2 yards. 109 yards. On no play action, he was 14 of 17 for an 82.4 completion percentage, 161 yards, 9.5 yards per attempt, and 1 touchdown to no interceptions. And his adjusted completion percentage would have been 82.4%. So, kept clean. When he was kept clean and he wasn't in play action and could survey, he was slicing and dicing yesterday. When he was kept clean, it was when he was under pressure that it wasn't a favorable thing. Right? So, continuing on. Let's get into... I wanted to show you guys this too. Let's get into the blocking. So the highest pass blocking grade actually went to Teron Armstead yesterday. He had an 81.3. Austin Jackson had a 77.9, which is great to see too. Second highest graded offensive lineman. You look at in terms of run blocker, Connor Williams was your best run blocker. He had an 86.8. Your second best offensive lineman run blocking was Robert Hunt at 71.3. Your highest offensive graded lineman was Connor Williams with an 82.3. Second highest was Teron Armstead with a 72.2. Then Robert Hunt with a 71.8. Now, how did we do in the pressure department? Something we looked at every year. They gave up 11 pressures yesterday. Last year, I believe they gave up 16. Let me double check. I tweeted it out. Last year in game 1 against the Patriots, they gave up 16, I believe it was. Let me see here for a sec. Just to verify with you guys. Yeah, they allowed 16 in week 1 last year against Connor Williams. So that's 5 less. Now, your leading pressure giver was Liam Eichenberg. He allowed 2 hurries on 2 QB hits. Greg Little, he allowed 2 hurries and 1 sack for 3 pressures. Chase Edmonds allowed 1 hurry for 1 pressure. Teron Armstead allowed 1 QB hurry for 1 pressure. And Connor Williams allowed 1 hurry for 1 pressure. So there you go, Liam Eichenberg and Greg Little. Guys, Austin Jackson didn't allow anything until he went out. He was doing good. Austin Jackson was holding down the fort, baby. So, I mean, Austin Jackson's numbers could have been even better. Let's be honest with ourselves. Austin Jackson's numbers could have been even better if he would have had the full game out there. So, would have been interesting to see how it worked out. Now, continuing on to PFF, let's go into our defensive grades. Kadir Kahu was the top graded defensive player with a 91.2. Melvin Ingram was number 2 with a 76.8. Emmanuel Ogba was number 3 with a 76.5. Seiler, number 4 with a 73.6. And Brandon Jones was number 5 with a 72.1. Your 5 worst graded was Landon Roberts with a 28.5. Keon Crossan with a 34.8. Jalen Phillips, who just did not make a big impact yesterday, with a 34.8. And then a 39.1 from Nick Needham. Elijah Campbell rounding out the bottom 5 with a 46.7. Now, when we go into coverage matchups, so Nick Needham was targeted 6 times, allowed 5 receptions for 96 yards. He allowed 3 first downs. He allowed 26 yards after the catch. The longest he allowed was that Kendrick Bourne toss for 41 yards. Brandon Jones was targeted 5 times and only allowed 2 receptions for 22 yards, 16 yards after the catch and 1 first down. Jerome Baker, he allowed 4 receptions on 4 targets for 24 yards and a first down. Duke Riley allowed 3 receptions on 4 targets for 22 yards and a first down. Ramondre Stevenson, Devontae Parker, and Hunter Henry each had a reception against Landon Roberts, who allowed 3 receptions on 3 targets for 25 yards. Kadir Kahu, shut down, baby. Targeted twice, 0 receptions, and a pass breakup. Obviously, Duke Riley had a pass breakup too, thanks to his ass. Elijah Campbell was targeted twice, allowed 2 receptions and a first down. And then Melvin Ingram targeted once, and it was Ramondre Stevenson behind the line of scrimmage, and he shut it down for a loss of 3 yards. So those are your PFF grades. Let's get right into the next gen stats. Mac Jones. This is what Mac Jones looked from a passing chart standpoint. As you can see, he was 21 of 30. And he only had 2 completions. He's 2 for 5 from 20 and beyond, and an interception, right? So he's very spotty. 2 for 6 because he had that deep one he missed down the right sideline. I apologize. And you look at it, the most success between 10 and 20, he was only, he was 2 for 4. All of his success came from with 10 yards and in front. So he only missed 3 passes from behind the line of scrimmage to the 10-yard line. He was very efficient there. So, I mean, we were calling him during the stream. Everyone wants to say Tua's check down. Hey, I don't know if you were watching Mac Jones yesterday, but check down Charlie commence. You know what I mean? So that's his passing chart. It's not that much pretty. It's nothing to write home about. So, continuing on to a Tagovailoa's passing chart. Now, it's a little bit better at the intermediate level, obviously. Kind of the same results from 20 and beyond. He was 2 for 5. Mac was 2 for 6, but Mac had the interception as well. But Tua was 4 for 6 at the intermediate level, according to Next Gen Stats. 23 of 33 for 270 and 1 touchdown. And again, just like Mac, he only had 3 misses from inside the 10-yard line to behind the line of scrimmage. Only 3 misses. So, not bad. Okay, right? It's again nothing great. I mean, I'm not. Hey, I called Mac what I called Mac, but I'm not over here doing handstands and backflips over to his passing chart. Now, when we get into the next gen stats of the game, this is what we got. Longest completed air distance was Mac Jones at 51.2 yards. Tua had a 35.8 yard. The fastest ball carrier was Nelson Aguilar for the Patriots at 19.84. Jalen Waddle got up to 20.8 miles per hour on his touchdown run. The fastest sack was Dietrich Weiss in 3.2 seconds, while Brandon Jones got one in about 2.1 seconds. And you look at their passing charts on here by passing zones. So again, you see not too pretty for Mac from 20 plus. Not much more impressive for Tua from 20 plus. Now on the intermediate level, Tua was obviously much more efficient, 5 for 7, while Mac was 2 for 4. And then you look at 10 inside 10 to the line of scrimmage again. Very, very similar numbers, right? Not that much off between the two of them. Both perfect behind the line of scrimmage. And they both missed 3 passes from the line of scrimmage to the 10-yard line. So very, very similar. Now, rushing wise, you look at Damian Harris. He found his most success, obviously running to the left side. That A or B gap is where he was finding it. He had 27 yards, and then off that left edge, he was finding some good movement too. Ramondre Stevenson, a little bit more even, right? He didn't find any success to the left guard, but he didn't even have an attempt. While he found a little bit of success off the left side, he found a lot of success off the right edge with 1 rush for 8 yards, and then averaged about 3 yards per carry in between the A-B gap to the right side of the line. Ty Montgomery didn't get a single carry. You look at Chase Edmonds, again, not averaging anything great off that left side. You look at the A, the B gap to the right side. Again, not too great. It just couldn't get the run game going. Now, Mozart off that left edge was getting something rolling for real. 2 attempts for 14 yards. All right. Now, we look at receiving. Let's look at the separation because this was a big thing last year, remember. The league average, remember, look at this, guys. Can you believe what we're looking at? Look at the league average. Look at the separation. We didn't get any of this last year. We got none of this last year. I mean, Devontae Parker was averaging over like a yard reception of separation. It was ridiculous. He looked like Jacoby Myers over here. Look at Devontae Parker averaging 3.99 for them, but can't do it for us. Anyways, Trent Sherfield averaged almost 5 yards. He averaged 4.7 yards of separation on average. Tyreek Hill, 3.99 yards. Durham Smythe, 3.82 yards. Jalen Waddle, 2.63 yards. Cedric Wilson, 2.82 yards. And the league average is 2.91. Guys, this is what separation looks like. If you've been following my shows since last year, when we've been doing stuff, this is what separation looks like. Look at this. It's a beautiful thing, isn't it? What is going on? Someone explain to me what's happening right now. Someone explain to me what's going on. This is a beautiful thing. Now, on the defensive pass rush, here is now the league average is about 4.53 yards. You look at Christian Barmore was about 5.04 yards. Judon was about 5.14 yards. I mean, they were all held below the league average in terms of average separation for the QB. Us, again, the only one who beat the average was Ogba, and he barely beat it at 4.45 yards. But Raekwon, 4.63 yards. Wilkins, 4.82 yards. Seiler, 5.25 yards. So you see the separation clearly showing up, all right? You see it clearly showing up. So, man, beautiful thing. Beautiful. Love it. I'm here for every minute of it. All right. We're going to get into an article from Barry Jackson after, and then I want to show you an efficiency chart from yesterday too. But before we do, I did want to I wanted to show you guys an interesting little presser from Mike McDaniel. Let's get into it. I wanted to go over the Mike McDaniel press conference with all y'all. We got some time. Let's roll it. Here is Mike McDaniel's press conference from today. All right.
Missed you last night, but
thank you. Well, congrats on the win.
no, but you had some teammates that were compensating.
Stepped up and asked quality questions.
Several
Several of them.
at
Yes.
one time.
So, was the news you got today? If you
On
had
back
it,
in,
Jackson, is
if
it
in
a
an emergency
sprain,
situation,
ankle that makes it day-to-day,
but it's
or is it something
serious enough.
that could land him on IR.
No, it's
potentially?
something that is, he was tough. He stayed in uniform and could have gone back in if in an emergency situation. But it's serious enough that we're getting some more eyes on it. And so we'll be continuing along the process to have the best medical information on him moving forward. So to be determined.
And Stephen Carter?
Yeah, he's in the concussion protocol, and so we'll you guys know how that goes. Where that is of all things the most case by case basis. So we'll be taking it as such moving forward.
Running game, something you take pride in, of course. What did you notice? What did you take away that can be improved going forward?
There was a lot. I didn't give. There wasn't a ton of opportunities for some bigger plays in the run game, but there were some. I think that New England does a great job of like I knew going into the game, of presenting different looks and having a plan specific for your unit. So that kept us off balance to a degree, but something that I'm very glad they got that rep on collectively, coaches and players included, because that's something that will not change as I've experienced moving forward. I think there was some good plays, but it's something that we'll look to improve upon, like really every other phase of our game moving forward.
Coach, you see the world is a better place when the Miami Dolphins win on Sunday. How do you look to improve heading into next week's matchup against Baltimore?
Well, I think I think there's some areas of the country that would disagree with that statement, but you know what? Who cares about them? So I agree with you. It's something that was a focus of what I spoke to the team about today, and it's one of the unique things about football that I think that not everyone totally digests. It is awesome, and the world is a better place. But if your goals are more than to just win a few games here or there, you take that feeling that you have on Sunday and you put it to bed, because the best teams are the ones that continually progress throughout the whole season. And theoretically, not outcome oriented, but theoretically that if we're on the journey that we want to be, that should be the worst game that we play all year. That you should always be getting better, and that's not always measured with wins and losses, but the best teams that if you want to be a good team in this league, you have to be playing your best football in the end of November and December months. So that's what.
Did you guys hear what he said? If we're on the right journey, if we're on the journey we want to be on, realistically, we will win. That'll be our worst game. He literally told y'all that'll be the worst game. I mean, what else do you need to hear from the guy? I mean, you got to love the expectation. You got to love the expectation. Right? You have to be playing your best football in the end of November and December. I mean, that's what it is. I love hearing that from the coach. I love it. He knows what's good.
Gearing towards, and there was definitely no celebrations or parties today. I could tell that the team knew there was some plays to be made on the field that we didn't make. Yes, even in the locker room, but today it was definitely throughout the whole building that guys were focused on getting better and improving before this Baltimore game, because I promise you Baltimore does not care, or Baltimore could care less about our happy feelings on Sunday.
Following up a little bit off the question on the run game, when you look at the offense,
and he also acknowledged that, hey, we left some plays on the field that we got to make. So, I mean, he ain't lying.
As a whole, taking into account that Austin was out for a while there, what do you see from the line?
I saw a line that is young in the season. In terms of, I saw some really good stuff. There was some really good plays made by the line. The one thing about offensive line play is you can't take advantage of really good things by some players unless everyone is in concert. So the really what happened to me in the game was that when players were making plays on the offensive line in the run game specifically, there was a couple players that were a hair off, and that's when you're going against a team that plays physical like New England, that was definitely emphasizing stopping the run. Your results aren't what you want. I saw the same thing in the pass game. There were some really cool protection clips from and plays made by really everyone across the board. But then there was some miscues that were either just rule oriented, or we had a halfback miss a protection here or there. So ultimately, I was pleased with it, and it kind of, I wasn't that surprised. Just knowing the level of detail the Patriots bring forth, and they play heavy up front, and if you're off a little bit at one spot, it doesn't look the greatest. So I was pleased with where we're at, but that's assuming and going under. Operating under the assumption that we're going to continue to get better. So it wasn't far from where I pictured, and no confidence has been lost on my end.
Usage or lack thereof, was that a byproduct merely of matchups? Do you envision getting him?
No.
So basically, he's saying it's a work in progress still, but I like what I'm seeing early on, and we're only going to get better. Which logic tells you that's what happens in football. You develop and you get comfortable. It'll happen with the offensive line, and it'll happen with the quarterback.
would have expected at the end of the game by our game plan for him to have more pass game production, I guess. I think that was the case with, I would have expected to get the ball more to Jalen Waddle, who I think had 4 receptions. I would have expected Raheem Mostert to have more opportunities with the ball. And that's one of the things that happens in the course of the game. And when you're on a better, the better offenses that you're on, the more that can, you don't have to force your hand to certain players all the time. And defensive presentations and the distribution of the ball gets spread. I mean, I can remember games where, I think the most productive offense that I've ever been on was probably the 2016 Atlanta Falcons. I think the 4th game of the season, Julio Jones had 300 yards receiving, and I know during that season he also had games where he had 2 receptions. So that didn't really necessarily reflect the exact game plan at all. I would have expected him to have more, but that's just how the ball bounces sometimes in an NFL football game.
Mike, your secondary, what did you think of its production overall, and Noah being inactive?
The plays are going to come. The big games are going to come for everyone. And notice how he brought up Atlanta, which is what I've been telling y'all since the rip. That's what he wants to replicate more than San Fran. And he just called it the most productive offense he's ever been a part of. There you go.
No, so I was pretty happy with the secondary. It's kind of what I expected. And like I told you, these are hard game day decisions. Noah knows that I wasn't punishing him. It happened to be about our specific game plan and the specific matchups that we had this week. And those are things that on a team, especially when you have, I think you guys have been grinding me on our secondary depth, and I tried to explain to you guys why. Well, I think you saw a little bit more from some of the players and why I feel that way. So we have some good players there that we will always
He's politely
try to do
telling
the
you
best
Noah
thing for
just ain't
the Miami
hacking
Dolphins
it.
and the given matchups and the given defensive game plan. So that was just part of it.
Like with Van Ginkel, you think have played more if he wasn't still working his way back from the appendix, or was that snap count 7? I think defensively a game plan decision.
No, that was him working his way back. He's had a tremendous offseason, and he's it's to his credit that he was playing in that game. So that's a guy that that are his teammates root for him because of what he brings to the field, and we're all I would expect him to get
yeah, we knew he'd take some
more
time to
stuff
get
moving
Andy Van
forward.
Ginkel back, right?
Having had a chance to digest the film now, what could you say about the defensive game plan going into the game and also the way they adjusted from your defensive staff?
Yeah, I was very happy with it. I was happy with where they were focusing, and their overall game plan was pretty good. I thought there was some things that we were trying to get done in the second half that there's ultimate accountability that we try to preach, and to their credit, the players are saying, hey, we could have got that done.
He should be very happy with it because the defense was elite
the coaches
yesterday.
are saying, well, we probably didn't articulate it right. That's where, for a game where they give up 7 points and score 7 points, you're very happy with the mindset of the whole unit. And so I was after digesting the film and talking to all the guys, and I'm very happy with where they're at, and they're expecting to continually get better, which is what we all expect.
What did you think of Tua after watching the game film?
I was happy with Tua because he did a lot of things well, and then he got the taste of there were some things that he wasn't that fired up about, but this is a team thing, and there's a lot of things that me personally that I told him, if you're to do your position right in the National Football League, you can't be afraid to find things that you can do better at. And there was several times that, I think Tua was covering for me because I was getting the play in later than I would like. Those things I have no patience for myself, and so I let the team know. I think after the game. And
let's stop this right here for a sec. Do you see what he just said? Did anyone catch what he said? There were several times where Tua covered for me because I was getting in the play later than I would like. I mean, and this was talked about today. Tua talked about it yesterday, that there were times where he wasn't getting the call through the headset and he had to just call what he knew from the playbook. Tua spoke about this post-game yesterday, saying I had to call things from the playbook because the headset wasn't working. And now you got McDaniel saying he was getting plays in late, and Tua was having basically to call the game off the cuff at times. And we still won. And Tua still put up 270 yards. So, what happened? Now Tua knows a playbook and no one wants to talk crap about him not knowing playbooks? I mean, that proves Tua knows the playbook if he's out there calling the offense by himself without the play calls coming in. And look at that. Look at the transparency from McDaniel. Flores would never admit that. Would never admit that. He would never admit that he was getting the play calls late and Tua was having to call the game by himself at some times. He would never do that. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. So, shout out for Tua Tagovailoa making up for late calls coming in and for the headset not working at times. So, we're gonna stop it right there. He goes on to talk about Lamar Jackson and the defense and stopping them, as well as, Trent Sherfield and promoting River Craycraft instead of Eric Ezukanma. I think there's something going on with Eric Ezukanma. I mean, I know they want to get him as a better route runner, but I just think, I think you're going to see Eric Ezukanma. But I really wanted to play up to that Tua point because, I mean, I thought everyone was trying to say that Tua was a bonehead and his Wonderlic proved it, but he's out here calling off the playbook off the cuff, but no one's saying nothing. But no one's saying nothing. I don't know. You figure it out, huh? I guess it only works when it fits narratives. I guess that's the case. I apologize. All right, let's get into an article here from Barry Jackson. Very interesting things here. Very, very interesting here, okay? So here's what changed and didn't with Boyer, and here and Flores gone. Dolphins offer insight. In deciding to stick with the most of the same defensive personnel and the same defensive coordinator, the Dolphins told us two things without specifically saying it this past spring. They believe the quality of this defense is closer to the unit that allowed 15.5 points per game during the final 9 games in 2021, not the one that relinquished 29.1 points per game through the first 8. They believe this wasn't former coach Brian Flores' defense, one relying on his presence to succeed, but mostly Josh Boyer's. The decision not to dramatically change the personnel or replace Boyer as defensive coordinator looked good in the day after glow of a 20-7 opening day win against one of the dominant franchises in 21st century sports. Not anymore, New England. Albeit one greatly diminished now. After beating New England for a 4th consecutive time, the Dolphins awoke Monday ranked 2nd in the league in points allowed behind only Tampa Bay and 6th in yards yielded. So, did defensive meetings and preparation change last week with Boyer no longer operating in Flores' shadow? Not much, players said. The Dolphins say that Boyer called defensive plays in every game last season, and players say it's not like Boyer suddenly has been given authority that he didn't have under Flores, who was a sharp defensive mind. I don't see a big difference, Jerome Baker said. I can see a head coach just letting Josh do his thing. But it's not that he has more authority or anything. Mike McDaniel is going to sit back and let Josh do his thing in front of us. Nothing really changes. Baker paused to make an important point. Josh is smart as hell on top of us. He looks at everything. Every individual rep, he looks at everything and making every calculated decision. Sam McGuavin said, Flo would be in our defensive meetings more often than McDaniel so far, but a lot of times he would have Josh have the floor. It's pretty much been the same. And Baker pointed out that Flores was never in the defensive meetings all the time. He would come in now and again, but not as much as you would think. I mean, let's talk about it, guys. What's going on? What's the deal? Come on. I thought Gerald Alexander and Flores were the dudes. Sure don't look like that right now, does it? But there were some changes in recent weeks and on Sunday. Among them, Iguavin cited one of them, defensive intensity in the early stages of practice. Boyer has been determined to avoid another slow defensive start like last season when the Dolphins were stout in the opener, a 17-16 win against New England, but then allowed 35 points in Week 2 to Buffalo, 31 in Week 3, and then 27 in Week 4, 45 in Week 5, and 30 in Week 7 before stiffening. Inside linebackers coach Anthony Campanelli, returning from last year's staff, has no mercy on us, Iguavin said. We're going to go hard early in practice. We're going to be gassed by the time the team periods come. It's good. That's the best way to train. Train when you're tired. His approach has been like that. But all the other coaches got into it and are doing the same this season, Iguavin noted. How much has Boyer emphasized a better start this season? Too much, Iguavin said in jest. At the beginning of practice, we are damn near like dead because we gas out in individual drills. We've got to mentally still find a way to run the ball after we're tired before practice even starts. That approach paid dividends Sunday when Miami's defense didn't wilt in the oppressive heat. The Dolphins didn't allow a point in the Patriots' final 3 possessions. We're upping the intensity, Iguavin said. The standards are way higher. We went on a long run last year, and we were flat at the beginning of the year. The bar is set higher now. From a personnel standpoint, these significant changes happened. Melvin Ingram replaced Andrew Van Ginkel as a starting outside linebacker, and he showed up yesterday. Instead of using Justin Coleman and Noah Benogany as backup, yesterday, Kahir Kahu, Keon Cross, and Elijah Campbell. And they didn't get smoked. The Dolphins needed to replace the role of released defensive lineman Adam Butler, who logged 53 of Miami's defensive snaps. Those snaps ended up being gobbled up by Zach Seiler and John Jenkins. And I love it. A decision that allowed Raekwon Davis a breather after he rolled his ankle in Thursday's practice. The challenge becomes considerably more difficult now with the 3 top 10 quarterbacks awaiting in the next 3 weeks. Baltimore's Lamar Jackson, Buffalo's Josh Allen, and Cincinnati's Joe Burrow. The Dolphins will enter the game in Baltimore having held their past 11 opponents to less than 300 yards passing, their longest streak since 2017, and their last 13 opponents to 400 yards or less overall, which is their longest such streak since 2005-2006. Ingram's indoctrination to his defense left him convinced it's all 11 guys out there getting to that ball, and something special here, at least defensively. It's business as usual with Boyer, but no Flores. So, I mean, hey, you tell me. It looks like, you know, you got players backing up that, man, Josh Boyer was running it last year. Josh Boyer was that dude calling plays last year. And then we got what we got yesterday, and they're backing him up. So, there you go. There you go. Josh Boyer, the man of the hour. Now, I wanted to show you guys this. Let me zoom out here. All right. Now, showing you guys this. This is quarterback efficiency on week 1. You can see Mahomes is like off the chart, ridiculous. So on the left, you got EPA, expected points added per play. passes, rushes, and penalties. And then at the bottom here, you've got completion percentage above expected. All right. So this is kind of an efficiency chart, right? Quarterback efficiency. Look at Tua, guys. If you look at Tua, he's right here. Like, Herbert was more efficient and Josh Allen's and Mahomes. But technically, Tua was more efficient than Kirk Cousins and Ryan Tannehill and Wentz, who had higher EPAs. But the completion percentage above expected was not. So you look at Tua, again, that chart shows you he's rocking that line of efficiency. This chart on EPA per play and completion percentage above expected shows you Tua was quite efficient yesterday in terms of passing. So just a little something for you guys to get your eyes on, right? And then finally, guys, go check out FinsideTheNFL.com. You already know what time it is. Go check out the best merch shop in the game. Might Get Sticky giveaway September 30th. We got all these different tees. We got all these different little knickknacks for y'all. Man, we got Turkish towels for y'all. We got hoodies. We got the Two is Cooking hoodie. Man, go check out FinsideTheNFL.com. And then go check out our shop, man. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. All right, guys. I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to be back tomorrow night with the homie Martin and Ball Game. And we are going to break down every drop back from Tua Tagovailoa. All 32 dropbacks, we will be dropping them for y'all. You guys are saying you couldn't see the chart? You should be able to see the chart. If you guys didn't see it here, let me bring it up for y'all so you can see it one more time. Let me bring this up. Hold on. One more time for y'all. Give me a sec. There you go. Anyways, it was too small, you guys said? Yeah, I'm not going to enlarge it because then it's going to just be too big and it'll overlap me. What I'm going to do is probably for the next one I do this show, I'm probably just going to go back to StreamYard for y'all. Or I got something else to do that I can do behind me. So, listen, I'm going to get out of here. I'll be back tomorrow night. Me, Martin, and Ballgame will be back. We'll probably be back around 8, 9 p.m. Be out on the lookout for us. Listen, you already know what time it is. Subscribe. Hit that like button. Show some love. And I will see all of y'all tomorrow night right back here for Tua Tuesday. All right? We'll see y'all tomorrow. As always, fins up all day, every day, even beyond the grave in which we'll lay. Appreciate each